And welcome back, everyone. Let's get to our first position topic. Westchester County Executive Rob Astorino joins us now. County Executive, thank you very much.
Nice to see you, Richard.
Okay, well, this issue now has gotten national attention, and I want you to react. This comment from the plaintiffs who brought the suit originally, Craig Gurian. If I could see before, thanks, guys. He said, the county executive couldn't have more thoroughly rejected the court order if he had stood on the schoolhouse steps and said segregation now, segregation forever. The language and the dialogue and the stigmas attached to this, it's getting ramped up. I know you yourself were on national TV talking about social engineering. To the folks at home who say, what's going on? Why is the county still fighting this? What's your answer?
We're not fighting it. We are doing what we're supposed to do. We are complying with every term in that settlement, and that's what's so frustrating to me and people in Westchester County. This suit was brought by the ADC, Anti-Discrimination Center, settled by my predecessor in the County Board of Legislators. But nowhere in the court papers is there an admission or finding of segregation and discrimination. That term and those kind of reactions are coming from the ADC and Housing and Urban Development. And they keep using it to make it look like it's been a fact. It isn't. And so that's upsetting to me that the county of Westchester would be labeled discriminatory or segregated. It's furthest thing from the truth. The point in this whole thing is Westchester's supposed to build 750 units of affordable housing in 31 eligible communities, and we are doing that. We are so far ahead of schedule, it's not even funny. In the last, well, since I got into office is really when this started, where we had to start complying, and we are. We have 160 units that are in place basically for financing and building permits. The benchmark at the end of this year is 100. We have another 100, so we'll be at 260 or so of the 750, which will already be underway. So we're doing everything we're supposed to do. HUD, on May 13th, sends a letter to us, and you can see this letter and a lot of this on my website, robastorino.com, on the county website, etc., and people should read this letter. They sent us a letter, and they said in their letter, we understand what we're now demanding you to do is outside the four corners of the settlement. So not in the contract, not in the agreement. And as such, we want you to do this, that, and the other thing, including start investigating the lending practices of banks. It's not our job. It's the federal government's job. Start modifying loans. Start, when you build, put 3-bedroom units next to above-average schools.
Well,
Nothing
if I could
in the
on this
agreement.
one, I want to get to some broader ones, but we asked the regional director of HUD about some of the specific concerns you laid out on numerous occasions, including what's on your site. If I can see B7 and B8, again, this is Adolfo Carrion, the regional director of HUD, specifically talking to the bedroom requirements as well as the lending practices.
The county did an assessment of need, and HUD makes a recommendation. We recommend that in order for them to answer the need for affordable housing for families in Westchester County, they ought to build 3-bedroom units. That's a recommendation. The county understands that that's a recommendation and not a requirement. However, the requirement is that they need to remove the barriers. No, we are not trying to get lenders to change their policies. In fact, we've been accused of the opposite, where we're requiring larger down payments. Obviously, he was trying to hit a button.
Okay. Before we get into the details, there's a lot of important details on this, and I'll give you an opportunity to. An objective person says, all right, I moderated the debate between you and your predecessor. Everybody banged Andy Spano in the agreement that he did, but real clearly, between 2000 and 2006, county got more than $50 million because it asked the federal government, not the federal government came into Westchester and said, we're going to socially engineer your county. The county went to them and said, we want a lot of money, tens of millions of dollars. Federal government said yes with stipulations. Well, after the suit came out, with a summary judgment, Judge Coates said, you haven't lived up to a fraction of your responsibilities, and more than that, they see evidence of fraud here and misrepresentation, again from your predecessor's office, about the advancements and the requirements that they were meeting. Moreover, because of the widespread fraud that they said they saw within it, they then assigned a monitor since they couldn't even trust the county. The county, at expense, had to then meet those responsibilities. Then the county in 2009, again before you came in, signed a consent decree further acknowledging that A, they weren't compliant, but they were going to do the following things. Now the public says, wait a second, it's 2011, and you said in the debate here, I don't like this deal. It's a bad deal for the county, but I will live up to the letter of the law and I will acknowledge it.
That's correct.
They now see that after 5 different revisions that you'll send to HUD, that each one's been rejected, the threat that this is going to go back before the federal district court. You guys have laid out probably $20 million, not you, but the county has in legal fees and penalties, lost a $7 million grant of HUD, and now forget about even your own legal expenses. You say, rightfully so, the county doesn't have money to burn here, but we're keep fighting what seems to be tilting at windmills.
No,
nobody thinks you're going to have to go before the same judge, and I'll go through the quotes if you want, Rob,
yep.
But she made it implicitly clear that Westchester was nowhere near living up to its responsibilities to provide affordable housing here throughout the county. Why are we going through this dance when we know how it's going to end?
No, we don't know how it's end, and we should be defending the county. But first of all, the issue was the certifications in those years, 2000 and 2006, that the previous county executive and the county certified that they were taking race into account as an impediment to further fair housing. They didn't. And that's what this is all about. Westchester has a very proud history, and I am continuing that. My predecessors and I and the boards have been building affordable housing throughout Westchester, including in our cities, which are not included in this settlement, by the way, spending millions and millions of dollars to provide fair and affordable housing for people. And we will continue to do that, and we are. This boiled down to a settlement which was reached, is binding, which I'm complying with, and the county is doing it, not just in good faith, but to the letter of that agreement. And it's very frustrating when the federal government comes in and tries to dictate new terms in the middle of the game.